Hey everybody and welcome. Today I've got Masterpiece Ultra Ramjet, the second in the trio of conehead KOs that we're getting from whoever this company is. And let's you get pretty much the same thing you got with Thrust, which is pretty much the same thing you get with the MP52 mold. So, box, nothing special. Then, of course, you got your product shots on the back. Now, of course, with Thrust thrown into there, you do get the same accessories that you got with Thrust. Only difference is silver face instead of gray face. But there's that. And, of course, here he is in all of his white and red and black glory. So this guy, he's got some paint issues. And also, right out of the box, the fins were untabbed, but now I've got them tabbed in there pretty good. Oh, not that one, but yeah, just two small tabs, nothing special. You just go down into there, and you just give it a good squeeze, but be careful, because it's thin. If you push down too hard, you might break something. Careful. But other than that, he looks good. He looks like Ramjet. He rolls well. Also out of the box, I've got this one. It's, yeah, this pin is not really doing too much. I'm probably going to have to glue that. Other than that, though, he has the same gimmicks that MP52 does. Oh, chest missile doesn't want to stay up. You got your opening cockpit. You got your opening radome. You got the landing gear, which you can see him using. This does not want to stay all the way shut. But then you've got exhaust pieces. Let's head into accessories now. Exhaust pieces, you just tab them in to the engines, and there you go. And this one is super loose, so it wants to push in on me. But you get the point, which is funny that we've got the exhaust there, but then nothing for these thrusters. Yeah, is what it is. It's a KO. You can't expect too much. Let's see. Then we've got faces. This is his straight face. And then this is, well, it looks like a straight face, but his mouth is ever so slightly open on his left side. Yeah, not a big difference there. And then he's got the screaming face. Then you do also get a flight stand with the same adapter we got for Thrust and for MP52. I believe for MP52, actually. I tried getting a KO that once and it came in missing a wing and a head and a hand and all this and that, so I just got the deformation space instead. But there you go. Looks good on the stand. Come on. Here we go. So, there's all that. Let me get this damn thing unplugged. Come on. There we go. There we go. And if you have the Megatron gun that comes with MP52, that will tab in there, since it is essentially the same mold. Very minor rework. And then the last accessory, of course, you get the bombs with his blasters, and these, just like with Thrust, open them up. Do all that. You can plug them in. There we go. Now you got that. And for attaching, for Ramjet, his special attachment is right back here on these thrusters. So you use the small peg that you would use to plug it into his arms, and you just plug that in right there. And there you go. Pretty much hidden by the wings, but they're there. I think I've got a bit of a twist in his waist because he's sitting weird. But anyway, that is it for accessories, as well as just overall looking at them. So the biggest thing here, like, this is loose. This pin isn't doing anything. I don't know when it happened, but it must have been on a transformation. But the corner of this fin, you can see that's got an angle to it, and that one's square cut. Yeah, so this got chipped off. First thing out of the box I noticed, other than the fins, was there's a lot of paint blemishes everywhere. And some of it, like right back here, let me see if I can zoom in for you. Yep, you see those speckles? it's almost like the paint is too thin, and it's showing the primer behind it, or like the paint got watered down. We got some black paint right there. And then just going throughout, and we'll see a little bit better in robot mode, but yeah, there's just... Let's see if there's anything right now that I can show you. Okay, we got some red transfer on him, on his leg. Yeah, like I said, we'll see a little bit better in robot mode when he's all blown up, pretty much. So that's the biggest thing with him, though, is that he does have some paint issues. And like I said, this piece, this is not... Oh, that's not good. Thankfully, I don't use these for jet mode. I prefer to use the attachments that are specific to ramjet and thrust, but even then, I've got them in their robot mode 9 times out of 10 anyway. So, there he is. And we'll do a couple quick size comparisons. First of all, here is thrust. So you can see the conehead team as they're shaping up. And ramjet, thrust is a little bit wider, but not by much, maybe a ½ an inch. Right, you can see it on my left side there. Other than that, about the same. Definitely the same in length, give or take. And then another jet here is Touch Toys Carefree. So, again, as it was for thrust, they're pretty close in size. Alright, and then last size comparison for alt mode, Deformation Space, Skywarp, and yeah, you know, Skywarp's definitely a little bit longer. With the new wings that Ramjet has, yeah, they're about the same width. They're pretty close. But the Seekers look good together, Conehead and the regular Seeker. And with that, there's not much else to this guy. So, let's get down to transformation. So first things, I'm going to go ahead and put his landing gear up because I have that out. Of course, you can skip this step if you are doing this straight out of the box, because those will be retracted. Oh, another thing, a lot of his joints were super stiff and tight coming out of the box, including the landing gear. So just be careful is the best thing I can say. I wish I could give you better advice, but man, you just got to be careful with them. So first I'm going to separate these from the sides. I'm going to bring them back. I'm going to straighten them out and bring them all the way back. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. This better not continue to happen. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and crack him at the waist. I didn't mean to split the legs, but it's fine. Go ahead and bring this up. Separate. There we go. Just want to get this out of the way. I'll go ahead and pull this apart. Okay. So, with the legs, just like with MP52 and with thrust, right? Push in on this piece, you rotate it around, there you go. I'm going to slide the kneecaps up on both knees. So one thing that's different about Ramjet are the wings. That's really the only thing that's different. So you want to untab them from right here and then slide them forward. I'm going to lift up on this. I'm going to rotate it and bring it back down and tab it in. Now that look, you can have it like this for the toy look, or you can have it like that for the toon look. That is up to you. However, I would still recommend, if you want it for the toy look, when you untab it, come on, untab, and slide it forward, you still need clearance for this panel to open. You can do it like that, but then you got to kind of scrape the engine. So I would still recommend flipping this over just for transformation and then flip it back if you want the toy look. But once you open up that panel, foot down, clip it in, make sure these are pushed in if they're not already. These were super tight for me on both sides. They're better now, but yeah, be careful with them. Lift it up and then tab it in. You got the tab and slot there as well as right there. So what I'll do, they're still tight enough that they don't want to come all the way up. I'll tab that in first, and then I'll tab it in there. And then, like I said, make sure the wing is slid all the way up. I wouldn't do that now since I didn't do it while I was talking about the difference. And you see with that flat, there's no bending on this piece, just a little bit easier. Bring the foot down, lock in, slide up, bring this up, get it all tabbed in. Good, good. That's 2 legs complete. And that's pretty much the only thing different that Ramjet has from Thrust and from the other 3 official Seekers. So now we're just doing the exact same transformation that you may have already done multiple times before. Bring that down. I'm going to go ahead and open up the radome, rotate it around, close it up against the cockpit. Sorry. Go ahead and bring the cockpit down. Fold the chair in. Fold these pieces up. Bend it. Slide it in. Close that. Bring the arms out. Now we're going to bring these side pieces out, which, just like with Thrust, got to kind of, and I'm sure like the others, got to kind of bend it past this little locking, the tab that's used for the arms. I don't like this. You're bending or scratching it straight past that. But after you get that, rotate the whole thing around. Use the ab crunch, which again for me, ab crunch was pretty tight. It's loosened up a little bit now, but it's still a little rough. And then getting the canopy past the body. There we go. I'll fold it down. I'll tab this in. There we go. Yeah, I just realized I am kind of rushing through this. It's just the same transformation. Like I said, those wings are the only difference. So there we go. Rotate this and bring it down. And now his head, just like with Thrust, we'll lift up on the cone piece first. And then you got to split the cheeks apart. You got to split Ramjet's cheeks. You're supposed to be able to just bring these apart. But both on Thrust and this guy, I need to like really get them apart to get the head in there. It's just not quite shaped right. So I'll just use a spudger and just do a little bit, one at a time. And once they're both started, then I can snap it all the way in. Okay, so there we go. And then you get the arms. There we go. Lock those in. And I'll set these up. Move them forward a little bit. And that... Oh yeah, that's right. He's only got an A stance because of the ratchet. There we go. There is Ramjet in his robot mode. And, you know, just like with Thrust, and the Seekers, it's pretty much a copy. Just difference is the paint and the wings and the head. Let's see. So looking at him closely though, I've got some white paint transfer on the cockpit. Let's see, I've got a lot of just little scratches and blemishes on both of his arms. Let's see what else I can show you. That's the biggest thing with this guy, is just lots of paint blemishes. It's like the white paint was wet when they put it in the box, or like it was watered down. Didn't get a good coat of primer. Well, he still stands fine. These wings do need to be pushed up like I showed you. Otherwise, they're going to be contacting and they're going to be acting as his heels, which is going to mess up your balance pretty bad. He would not stand like that for me. You do have the booby missiles, as normal for the 52 mold. There is his screaming face. His face has got some good detail to them. The head on my copy is nice and tight. It does seem like it's kind of angled forward a little bit. But still, he'll do a full 360. If I can get a grip of his head. There it is. Full 360, down that far. Not really any up. Maybe there's something tight going on that's preventing him from having full articulation. Shoulders. Ratchet 360. Up there on friction. But then up there on a ratchet as well. You get your 360 at the bicep. Get a single jointed elbow that gets you above 90. Get your wrist has an in and out. It has a 360, and then you've got your 2 pins on the thumb and 2 pins on each finger, all individual. Still pretty good hands, especially for Takara. Waist, no rotate. You do have the ab crunch. My guy's just super, super tight. Then you've got your front hip flap, your side hip flap. So he'll kick out to there. He'll kick out only about that far because it contacts these white panels. So no backwards. And then all the way out to there. He doesn't quite have any hindrance from the wings. It's like very, very minor. Leg, more than 90. Thigh rotate. You get your ankle rotate. You get a little bit of an up, no down. If you need it, the heel also does a little bit of a wiggle separately. But that's it for him. So, you know, same articulation that we expect from the 52 mold. And then I'll just do the one for argument's sake. Of course, you can put his blaster there on his shoulder, like always. And then he does have, come on, a handle if you want him to hold it in his hand, right? I don't know who wants to do that, but you know, you can. And then like I showed you with the other one, you lift up on here, rotate it around, and now it's the missile. So you can put that inside the bomb cover, or you can just leave it like that. If you have these flipped around for tune, then you can't attach them to the legs. But if for some reason you want them attached, if for some reason you want them attached to the wings, you can flip these around for the toy mode, and you can utilize that port. So there's that. Well, and that's, you know, really about it for his bot mode. So we'll go ahead and do a couple size comparisons. And first and foremost, here is thrust. So we can see how the team is shaping up so far. And man, they do look good together. Get your pauldrons angled right. So they do look good. I got to get some faction logos for him. I got to order some more. But yeah, they look good together. They do look good. Until Deformation Space rises from the grave and gives us coneheads, I think these guys will work out great for me. I mean, if Takara ever does a full redesign for the coneheads, where each of the 3 is pretty much a completely different mold, other than the torso, which can be shared, then maybe I'll get them. But if it's going to be something like this, then I'm not going to bother upgrading from here. And then speaking of Deformation Space, here is Thundercracker, so you can see the massive size difference between the two. It's no secret, you know, we've known MP52 versus deformation space, but just to reiterate, there is nothing different in scale for these guys. So there's that. And then one last comparison, here he is next to MP36 Megatron. So there you go. I still have no real problem with MP52 mold being short compared to 36 as they are, but yeah, I gotta admit I do enjoy the Deformation Space Seekers much more. I like their transformation more, even though it's more complicated, and they're just more fun, and honestly I think those matte colors look a lot better. But there you go. So, you know, this one has felt a little rushed, but to be honest, there's not really anything new with these guys. He's the same as Thrust, and both him and Thrust, the only difference is the head and the wings and the colors. Other than that, he is what you would expect from the MP52 mold, for better or worse. He is on the smaller side, he's got all the glossy paint. In Ramjet's case, he's got all these paint blemishes, and he's got pretty good articulation. So you either, you know, you pretty much know what you're getting into when you get these guys, Ramjet or Thrust. So, and I'm sure Dirge will be the same. Still looking forward to him so I can complete the Conehead team. But like I said, if Takara was to do a proper remold where the 3 Coneheads, other than the wings, are, well, in general, where the 3 Coneheads are different from MP52, like the whole upper body and everything, because they should have different waist and torso, then I'd be tempted to go in on that. But other than that, unless Deformation Space comes back and does the Coneheads, I'm good with these guys. They fit the bill. They fill the spot in my collection, and you know, they don't look half bad doing it. So even with his blemishes, which I could probably touch up if I really wanted to. But there you go. Yeah, like I said, I don't have much else to say on this guy. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed that it was a shorter video. And hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. See ya.